Peace and blessings, everyone. So the other night, I had a wet dream. And I know you're saying, why should I care about that? Minister Abdallah, that you had a wet dream. And I know you're definitely saying, and what does Jesus have to do with that wet dream? Well, in a way, nothing, and in a way, everything. Ultimately, I did get a title for effect to get your attention, especially the attention of Christians. But there's a valid reason to what I'm about to say and a connection with the title. So, in having a wet dream, it caused me to think of the issue of free will. And I've spoken plenty of times on this, but because it came to mind again, thought I'd make thus another video. For those, some new subscribers who haven't seen my video before, videos about free will, I'll speak on it again. Within Christianity, it is held that man has free will, that God gave man free will. That is one of the many blessings He afforded us, the ability to choose between right and wrong. And thus, because God gave us this facility, that we are able to fully choose, fully understand, comprehend the dictates, the commandments, the direction that it gives us, with full faculty, that He is thus, just and righteous in its punishment when we choose not to do as He commands. When we choose not to adopt the belief that Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior, He is righteous and just and giving us a punishment and damnation because we have that free will. Alright. So my argument has been that there is no free will. That man does not have free will. And where there is free will, it is not in the sense that it is being used. I believe, when we look at the human being, we look at man, we can be divided into three parts. I think it's three equal parts, if you will. The mind, the body, and the spirit, or the soul, or the energy. And if we look at all three, we either have minimal control or no control when we look at these three areas. When we look at the body itself, the majority of its functioning is is automatic, without us thinking or actively trying to control it. We do not actively think about how many times per minute our heart beats. We do not actively think about how many times a minute we blink. We do not think about, how often we're going to breathe. We don't think about the growth of our hair. We don't think about the growth of our fingernails. We don't think about the operation of our liver, of our spleen, and so on and so on. This is automatic. We have minimal control. I can't control my blinking. When I think about it, I can't control my breathing. When I think about it. But it's when I think about it. It is not a necessity for me to think about it because it is going to do it on its own volition. But like I said, if I think about it, I can't control it. The mind. The mind works on its own volition. When you think about the mind, if you would think about the fact of us being conscious beings, we don't control our consciousness. Matter of fact, we can become unconscious without wanting or willing to do so. We can be rendered unconscious by an outside force. I can be knocked out, and if I'm knocked out, I cannot just actively bring myself back immediately. It will take some time. I can be put in a coma. My mind, my brain can be put in a coma, and I have no control over that until it runs its course. I cannot actively just say I want to awaken out of this coma. I can be given drugs. My mind state can be altered to where I have no control over it. Even within the wet dream itself. Why is it I had a wet dream? Why? Because the body was acting upon itself of sexual desire, of the natural desire to procreate. It is within the body itself to want to procreate, to want to continue life, to want to create offspring. That is within its body. And even within the sexual desire of me desiring to have sex, looking at some women and not having that sexual desire fulfilled, well, the mind finds a way to do it. The body does it. Thus, when I'm asleep, the mind creates these dreams, or my brain creates these dreams, and it takes on a sexual, it turns sexual, and my body relieves itself. It ejaculates to release that sexual desire, and once again to release that desire of procreation. It doesn't procreate, but the body itself, it is working to do that. I don't control that. Then we have the spirit, the soul, however you want to put it. It is energy within us. I don't control that which gives me life. The spirit, the soul, this energy is that which emanates and within all things, all living things, and even maybe things aren't living. That's this energy which is life itself, is maybe existence itself, which may be reality itself. I don't control that. So we have this thing. All these things are going to run their course. This body, my heart, is going to beat till it runs its course. And in that, those two things have their own free will. My body is going to freely operate until it operates no more. Whatever it is that brings it to its end, to its demise, as all living beings that we know of, they all come to an end, they all die. One day my heart will no longer beat, and I am not able to stop it or to keep it beating. I am not able to keep my mind working after it decides that it's going to stop working. In old age, we go through things that affect the mind, things like what are some of the illnesses when you get old? Parkinsonism, right? Alzheimer's, where you lose your memory. You don't control that. You don't decide, well, I'm not going to forget, no matter what. They say you can work to strengthen your mind, doing some exercises. But ultimately, if you're going to get it, if it's going to go, it's going to go, and you do not control that. Like I said, I don't have control. Once my heart decides it's going to stop, once my life is going to end, I cannot say no, I do not want it to end. So once again, these things have their own free will. So there's only in that sense that free will exists, and not in the sense of how Christians or any religion which proclaims to have a God that will judge you for your actions because you have been given the ability to freely choose to do right or wrong. That you have full and ultimate control. The truth is, we don't. We must examine the truth in all things. And if there's one iota, one piece of any problem that is found to be wrong, then the whole problem itself is wrong. Look at it this way. Look at a math problem. Let's take calculus. Calculus, you can work a problem in calculus that can take up a couple pages of paper to come to the answer. You do the work, you get the answer, you found out the answer is correct. Why? Because somewhere within our problem there was something incorrect. And one part of that problem incorrect affects the entire outcome. It makes the entire problem not true. All problems, the answer is supposed to be the truth of that problem. If one part is wrong, then the answer is not the truth. So if you were to take the Bible or Christianity and make that a math problem, the answer out of that is that the Bible is the truth, that Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior, that we will go to hell or to heaven depending upon our choices. Within that problem is working the problem of free will. All right, as you work that problem of free will, the free will as you work it is supposed to work out. It's supposed to work out and say there is free will, that human beings have full and ultimate control, absolute control, that people can't be mentally retarded and not understand the Bible. People can't they can't develop mental instability, thus preventing them from being able to understand the Bible. This cannot happen because it takes away our ability to freely choose. So free will say thus, no, this is not true. But we know that it is the truth that such state of beings exist, where we are not in full control of our mind. All right, so as we work within this problem of free will, the free will as they define it does not work out. Thus, if that one part of free will is incorrect, it's not worked out, well then it destroys the entire problem. The problem itself, the answer, is not the truth. And that's what we must face. And you must face it. So as we looked at different aspects of Christianity, we can go through all, the problems of the Bible. But I'll just take this part. I'll take this part which they hold to as a premise, as part of the validity of their religion. Well, this part of the problem is wrong. And thus it renders the entire problem wrong, incorrect, once again, not the truth. That's what we must do with all things. We must break down all things to the smallest element. And unless every part is truth, unless every single part, no matter how small, every section, as we break down within a problem, within the calculus problems, you work it out in the section, we break down, you'll use this certain mathematical rule or law, whatever, to work it. And then as you break it down, you must do every part correctly. Every part must work out. Every part must be true for the entire problem to be true. And if you examine anything and any part is not true, then it renders the whole thing possibly not true, especially if it holds that part must be the truth. Thus, if it's not, then the whole thing is not true. It must be done. It must be done in truth, because truth is our salvation. Truth bless everyone. Peace and love.